Hey, welcome to the DPP channel. Today we are exploring the second round robin game of my locals, which I brought my new toy Beelzemon. In the second round, I actually had a mirror game. However, this mirror is actually quite unique. Both Beelzemon actually ran different engine and one has the upper hand over the other. One of which ran the hybrid package, which is mine, and one ran the Beelzemon and Ultimate Sacrifice. With Beelzemon 4-down mode able to destroy tamers and making games uneasy for the hybrid engine, you already know what's up. Without further ado, let's dive right into the game itself, as we do see the Pagumon and Inmon prop, Muling 3, and we actually do see the Beelzemon being mute, but thankfully we do have the level 4 in the nursery, so nothing is done. He did hit the Corona Destroyer, which allows you to gain 1 memory, and he's going to cast the Darkness Wave here, which is basically Mew 3 for just 1 cost, which is very nice if you do want to fill out the drop zone as soon as possible. And he's going to go for the Doberman Hardcore to pass the turn. We're going to push to the level 4 here. And of course evolving to the level 5 hybrid, which is not the best follow-up, but just to mainly cycle the hand. I'll be swinging the level 5 at the security using a dual table to actually Mew the top card of my deck. And we do hit into a Beelzemon, so it does die. So we're going to use the Demi-Meron skill to draw one, discarding the Blast Mode actually, because you do want the Blast Mode in the drop zone. And we're going to use the Inmon to discard one to pick up the secret BO3 Beelzemon to hand, because it can actually walk evolution, which in my opinion is the better Beelzemon. And we can also see that both players actually ran different Digitama, in the sense that he did run the Pagumon while I do run the Demi-Meron. Pagumon does offer a more acceleration in terms of the Mew, so it's very nice, and both players actually adopt different playstyles, which is very nice to see in a card game like this. He's going to go for the Miss Mary Boost, actually milling upon the Beelzemon, which allow him to actually call Inmon from the drop zone. The Inmon does allow him to actually discard 1 card from his hand to pick up a Beelzemon from the trash and add it back to his hand. So in this case, let's discard the Blast Mode and adding the Beelzemon from the BTO2 one to hand, which is a nicer Beelzemon again. And it's gonna warp evolution immediately, given that he has already more than 10 drop zones. So his milling package does really help me to get to this state of the game fairly quickly. And I'm gonna hatch out Demi-Meron, and of course evolving to the Inmon. Now the Inmon, I would say, are actually quite weak if you are playing towards an evolution kind of Beelzemon playstyle, because Inmon, they are better alone. And if you do play towards the evolution, the Inmon doesn't have much ESS skill to, benefit those cards that you evolve to. You're going to actually use the level 5 to hit into his Dobermon, and the Dobermon will activate his skill. So one tip for you guys is to actually complete the Dobermon effect before proceeding any other further Mew effects, because that's how it should be played. And in this case, he does actually further Mew and actually use the Inmon skill already. And in this case, he does check the top 4 and does miss. But he did actually forget about the Dobermon effect. So there's a lot of things happening. So what I recommend is always to play the cards slowly one by one, and I'm sure your opponent wouldn't mind. And it's going to evolve to the Inmon, of course, in the nursery. It's going to use the Miss Memory Boost, already pushing to 5 memory. And look like he's going to just swing at the security using the dual tamer to meet the top card of his deck, and actually going for the Blast Mode already from his drop zone. And it's going to be a total of 3 security attacks, because he definitely do have 20 drop zone already, and he does do a double check for me, and I do believe it, so I do accept the fate that my level 5 is going to die, and using his effect to play a tamer from the drop zone, in this case Koichi, and Koichi does gain me 1 memory because he does die. And we're going to check 3 security checks on the security there. We do check in the Miss Memory Boost, looks like we don't have any defensive options, and the Inmon is going to steal game 1. Now game 2 is going to start first with hatching Pagumon and actually evolving to the Inmon already, and this Inmon in specific really helps accelerate the game, and he does have 2 in the first turn. So that's a very strong startup for him. And we're going to evolve to the Inmon here, which isn't the best, and I might actually start considering to cut it down to probably just 2 to 3 copies instead of 4. And we do Im the Beelzemon, allowing us to play the Inmon from the drop zone, which is very nice. I'm going to go for the Koichi to sell out for our future turns in a form of hybrids. Now the problem with hybrid engine is sometimes it can become very slow, especially when the enemy do memory choke you. He does throw his Inmon at the security and he's going to start milling his deck. He does hit into a Corona Destroyer, allowing to gain 1 memory, hitting to a Blast Mode to destroy the Inmon, of course, and healing to a Dual Tamer. And that's going to mill for the Pagumon. Not hitting too much there. I'm going to use our own Inmon to mill the top 3, and we do hit into another Beelzemon, which allows us to actually call the Inmon once again. It's going to be very annoying in its perspective. He's going to use the Inmon to swing again, and of course the Inmon does successfully deleted, and it's going to go for the Mew 3. Does hit into 3 options there, which is very unfortunate, and it's going to hardcore the Doberman to pass the turn, and effectively choking me at 1 memory. We're going to use the Inmon to swing at the security, hitting to the Corona Destroyer, pulling off the Inmon, which does proc the Demi-Meron skill to draw 1. I'll be discarding the Inmon from our hand, and we're going to move up the Hybrid, or rather the Tamer, to evolve to the level 4 Hybrid. Thus when we choke him back at 1, but this isn't too good in my opinion because he does have Doublemon and he's going to swing at security anyway, and does actually not die, so that's a bit hurtful for him, but he does play a low Tamer to pass a turn. So I would say the Hybrid evolution didn't really do too much unless I do have the level 5 to follow it up. So I'm going to use the level 4 Hybrid to hit over the Doublemon because I do have only 2 security left and I can't afford to be stingy with his deletion effect. It's going to mill the top 3 of his deck and going to pick up something from the drop zone. In this case, the Doublemon himself, because there's no restriction to you can't pick it up the same Doublemon that got deleted. Going to swing the Inmon and security, does hit into another Inmon, so it's going to pro our top 3 mill. Duo Tamer, Tamer, and of course all the Tamers just die in one turn. We're going to go for the Calling from the Darkness to actually kill the level 4 Hybrid to pick up 2 Digimons from a drop zone in the form of 2 Inmons, and the Koichi is going to gain us that 1 memory back because on deletion. Is this a necessary play? Now looking back, maybe not the most optimal play because I do relieve some Digimon pressure off the board. I'm going to hardcore the Inmon and of course miss the top 4 and follow up with a Duo Tamer. I think what would have been done better is to actually not kill the level 4 Hybrid with the Call of Darkness to pick up 2 Inmons because now I do relieve some Digimon pressure off the board. It's going to go for the Beelzemon to actually kill off the Inmon. So what should I have done better is actually to just spawn more Digimons, especially the fact that he does have only 3 security left to put the pressure on him. He's actually not going for the Blast Mode there, which I assume he didn't have the Blast Mode in the drop zone, so that's very unfortunate for him. Or not, he would have pushed me to 0 security. Gonna start off the turn with 3 memory on our side, gonna push out the Inmon and use the Miss Memory Boost to push us to 5, which is the magic number for the Warp Evolution of 4 cost for the Beelzemon. We're actually going for the Blast Mode by not using a Tamer because our drop zones simply don't have the Blast Mode, so we have to actually hard evolve it. Not the best of play, but we have to make do. It does use the Pagumon to meet the top 2 options in this case, not the best scenario for him. And looks like he's already in a pickle because he does have Blast Mode staring at him and does have to restart the board from here. He's gonna go for the Miss Memory Boost to push into 7 memory here and actually hard calling the Beelzemon Chaos Mode to actually bomb the Tamer. So the drop zone count is already 20 plus, so it's basically an 8 cost hard call for the Beelzemon. And it's very interesting because Beelzemon is actually a level 5, so if you do want to play towards the Beelzemon SR, which is the new one introduced in EX02, Beelzemon is actually a decent idea, so props to him to actually come out with such an idea. And we're going to use the Blast Mode to swing at the security. We do have 20 or more drop zones, so we do have 3 security attack on the Beelzemon. We're going to go for the Koichi to pass the turn here, and with the Inmon in the nursery, this is pretty much game in my opinion because he doesn't have anything to actually answer the board here, and he'll actually scoop the game. We move on to game 3, Demi-Meramon hatching out and evolving to the Inmon. And of course we'll play the Tamer to start things off, giving him 3 memory ready, drawing 1 and discarding the Beelzemon from hand. Now he does hatch to his own Pagumon, and actually going for the Miss Memory Boost already, but he does mill the Beelzemon and the Inmon, which allows the Beelzemon to actually call the Inmon from the drop zone. So I wanted to clarify a sequence of which he could have done it better because, well, the way he's doing it right now basically is to use the Beelzemon to kill the Inmon and the Inmon to use the on-call skill, then using the Inmon skill to actually mill 3. That is actually wrong because the Inmon does have to be in the drop zone to actually proc the mill 3 ability, something similar to the Calling of the Darkness. Now, what he should have done is actually to use the Beelzemon effect last, using the Inmon skill to actually mill 3 first. So that will be a proper sequence to do, so I hope you guys can take away from that. And we'll move on to the game itself as we do push the Koichi evolving to the low Inmon for 2 costs. And of course we do have the level 5 Hybrid to follow it up, which is the better scenario. And we'll be evolving to the level 6 Beelzemon SR, which allows us to on-evolve Mewtwo and of course bomb that rookie. Now this play is actually quite, I would say, questionable because level 5 Hybrid do have a better on-deletion effect, and evolving to the Beelzemon to just answer to the Inmon isn't doing too much, especially the Inmon doesn't really have much pressure to begin with, but we do overextend, I would say. And it's going to hardcore the Doublemon for 5 costs here. I'm going to start off the turn with 2 memory, and because of the Doublemon hardcore and we are just shy of 1 card, because currently we are at only 7 drop zone, and upon attacking we do Mewtwo and going to 9, and we are not actually able to kill the Doublemon, so we do miss, and we actually hit to a Beelzemon, so which is the worst case scenario because our Beelzemon called Eamon did die, and the Doublemon is still alive. So we're gonna go for the Miss Memory Boost to hope for things. And we of course we Mewtwo Calling from the Darkness, which is not the best, and we're gonna hardcore the Inmon to discard 1 from our hand, discarding the Inmon and picking up that BTO02 secret Beelzemon. He's gonna start off the turn with the hatching of the Pagumon and gonna start swinging with the Dobermon. And does hit to 1 security, does die to level 5 hybrid. And he's gonna use the Dobermon effect to mill the top 3 of his deck and actually pick up something from the drop zone. He's gonna pick up the Dual Tamer there. And he's gonna follow it up by actually playing the Dual Tamer that he just picked up. And Dobermon really is quite nice, I would say, because it allows you to pick up the Tamer upon mulling. Sometimes blindly mulling the drop zone can actually hurt you more than it benefits you, especially with all the Tamers being dead. And Dobermon is the only way you can actually pick it back up. So gonna go for the Miss Marine boost, actually going for the ultimate sacrifice here, and this is where we see Beelzemon actually having the edge over the non-Beelzemon player because the Tamer for the Beelzemon is so important. Firstly, it does set the 3 memory, and of course, it does allow you to evolve to the Blast mode for just 3 costs. I'm gonna swing the Dobermon at the security, it does die to the Beelzemon there. I'm gonna use the effect to mill the top 3. And because I do value the Tamer, I'm gonna pick it back up and play it back immediately. I'm gonna give him 3 memory, of course, because he does already have the Dual Tamer anyway. He's gonna push out the Inmon and will start swinging at the security, given that I have only 3 security left. He does use the Dual Tamer skill, he does replay a bit, gonna use the Inmon to swing instead, milling a top card which is just a Dobermon, hitting to a Beelzemon, it's gonna use the Pagumon effect to mill 2, not hitting to anything here will be detrimental. He's gonna swing the Beelzemon as well, hit to 1 security left. It doesn't die to the Beelzemon because Beelzemon is just of course stronger, and he's gonna go for the Beelzemon Chaos mode again to actually kill off that Tamer. However, I would say it's a misplay here because he does leave 2 level 5 on the board, and against the Beelzemon Blast mode, which allows you to actually delete the highest level on the field, and this of course spells a lot of trouble for him. I'm gonna use the Koichi to set up the hybrid for the next turn and of course evolve to the Blast mode to kill off that 2 Beelzemons, and that really hurt him, but however he does have 6 memory to work with and I do have only 1 security. Now with only 1 security left, he can actually just afford to hardcore as many Inmon as he can. He's gonna hardcore 1 Inmon, or rather evolve 1 Inmon in nursery and hardcore 1 Inmon to pick up the Beelzemon from the drop zone. And of course he's gonna follow it up by a Beelzemon hardcore to destroy the Tamer. This prevents me from having any follow-up plays, especially after the Beelzemon Blast mode swing. So this is a very clutch Beelzemon play, I would say, and this does actually push him victory, I would say, because even though I do have Blast mode to swing a security, push him to 0, I don't have anything to actually follow up for that last swing, which is very unfortunate. I'm gonna hardcore the Inmon again to, look at the top 4 of my cards, and of course pick up the Blast mode to hand, which doesn't really do too much in hand anyway. I'm gonna follow up with a Warp Evolution on the Inmon to kill off that Inmon, but he does have 2 Digimons against that 1 security, so this will be game as he does push out the Inmon, hitting to the last security, and I do concede immediately. This is the Beelzemon deck list with the engine of the Beelzemon. And of course this is the hybrid one which I piloted in the previous game. Thank you guys for watching till the end, and do consider subscribing, dropping a like and a comment if you guys do enjoy the content.